Good evening and welcome to the Oaklander. I'm your host, Al DiGiacomo. The winter of '96 has been rough on all of us. That ice and snow can really wear one out. We've read stories of no heat, collapsed roofs, and several of our own neighbors being affected by the severity of this winter. I hope in our own hometown style we can take a moment to think about our friends who live next door and to ask ourselves if we can lend a hand shoveling snow around the fire hydrant or a storm drain. Maybe a call to a senior citizen can lift one's spirit on such dismal winter days. Only we can make a real difference. I met our first guest back in November and spoke with him at his home before he left as a member of the American team to compete in the International Chess Exhibition in Reykjavik, Iceland. We now take you to the other side of Oakland as we talk with 11-year-old chess champion Oren Gall. And what sparked your interest in chess?
Well, when my mom taught me, I seemed to be interested, and I would play with my mom a lot, and then I would start winning, and my mom thought I was good at it, and I thought I was good at it, and I seemed interested, and so we started going to like clubs, and then I learned more about it, and learned where I can go to other tournaments, and I seemed to be involved, so I got really interested.
How many tournaments do you compete in say, a given year?
At least 24.
That's almost once every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And how old were you then?
How old? Well, when my mom taught me, I was 6, and then I started getting interested in it, and by the time all that happened, I was 7, and I went to my first tournament.
Did you feel as if you were a natural? Did it come naturally to you?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think I was born with the talent, and I just had to get interested in it, and like I said, I went to clubs, and I like it, and it's great.
Well, it must be obvious by the amount of trophies that you have that you definitely have a natural talent, Oren.
Yeah.
Many have heard or read the wonderful piece written about Oren in the Suburban News by Sandy Coburn. It is a pleasure to have with us on the Oaklander a member of the U.S. Chess Federation, ranked 36 in America, Oren Gall. Oren, thanks for being our guest on the Oaklander tonight. Has this been your first tournament out of the United States?
Yeah.
And how was it to go to another country to compete for the United States?
It was very exciting, very anxious about it, looking forward to it before I went there, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Were you looking for the competition, or because I know you compete on a regular basis, or were you looking just as experience being in Iceland?
Well, I think both. Probably mostly the competition. They're really tough players, and they give you a good match. And even though USA lost, they're a lot tougher than us, and we did a lot better than we expected. We really got a good challenge, and it was a really great matches.
Now this comes about with your instructor or your coach, Jack Collins. Could you tell us a little about Jack Collins and the Collins kids?
Well, yeah, he's really amazing how he set up this whole trip, and not only that we had the tournament, but we also had a whole trip planned for us touring, sightseeing, going like everywhere. It was really something.
Tell us about some of the sights that you saw in Iceland.
Well, we went around like Reykjavik, the city that we stayed, that's the capital, and we learned about, from the tour guide, we learned about some things about Iceland. And we sort of went to the shopping center and we toured around Reykjavik, and there's these bonfires at New Year's Eve, and they're like, in Iceland, you can't even have fires because their houses are like really made strong, double, sometimes triple window pane, and these houses are really built like out of iron, and then they have snow on the ground because they have a short summer, and yeah, so they have these fires, like they take this whole pile of wood and they just light it up, and it's really something, and everyone is shooting fireworks. Everyone is like they buy fireworks, they just shoot it. There's no law there.
They enjoy it. They enjoy celebrating the New Year?
Oh, yeah, the New Year's something.
Well, tell us a little bit about Jack Collins. I understand he's trained some pretty famous people in the world of chess.
Yeah, he was Bobby Fischer's former teacher when Bobby Fischer was about my age.
Is there a little eye for you on that?
I think so.
I understand that you're quite a player. You were saying about some of the natural landscape that you had encountered over there. You told me about the Blue Lagoon. Would you tell our viewers at home about some of these sights that you saw? Yeah,
it's like unbelievable. You have to see it to believe it. It's the small town wanted hot water, and they drilled for it, but then they found this hot seawater. So then they were all unhappy. Eventually they found some hot water, but so then as for the hot seawater, now it's a major resort, a major attraction. It's mineral rich in sulfur and salt, and so that makes it healthy for your skin, and that's what makes it blue, and it's like hot, like 100 to 110 degrees, and people go in when there's snow on outside, when there's snow outside of the like pool or something, whatever you call it.
It's like a natural jacuzzi.
Yeah, it's like a lake. Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like a natural jacuzzi, and it's like hot seawater. It's something, and you would think that when you go out, it would be like freezing, and when you come out of the lake and when you go in, because like it's cold out there and you're just in a bathing suit and stuff, but from all the water vapor looks like smoke, and it's really thick, and so then that heats the surrounding air.
That sounds like a real interesting trip you had there.
Yeah.
Did you meet any new friends on the trip there, either from Iceland that you may stay in contact with, or were there?
Oh yeah, sure. We stayed in houses, like in people's houses, and
Who did you stay with?
I stayed with my mom and some other people, and those other people became friends. So it was nice, yeah.
You'll stay in contact with these people, kind of be like foreign pen pals?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. What plans do we have for Oaklander in the future there? What do you like to study in school? You'd mentioned science at one point.
Yeah, science. Yeah, I like science.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Think you may venture into the 21st century as a budding scientist with a natural
Maybe.
love for chess?
Yeah.
Do you study some of the masters, like maybe, I think it's Jorge Casablanca, study some of their moves? That I understand that in the world of chess, that there's only so many moves in the strategic game.
Yeah. I followed along the series of Viswanathan Anand and Garry Kasparov, at World Championship Series, and they were like very like interesting games. Like, yeah, it was like the first 7 or 8 games was a draw. It's like a tie.
Okay.
That's how good they really are. They two people that are really good of the same strength, they draw a lot. And then I think Viswanathan won a game, then Kasparov won, and then Viswanathan won another one, but then Kasparov started winning a lot, so then he won. Yeah,
you compete here in the States every other week or every weekend, don't you?
Yeah.
You have a tournament coming up soon, don't you?
Yeah, Sunday.
Okay. For the people who don't know, that's Sunday, the date?
January 20th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where is that? Is that local here in New Jersey?
In Parsippany.
Okay. I understand that for anybody who may be interested in getting in touch with you or possibly learning a little bit in a friendly way from chess with you, would you like people to contact you?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fine.
If you would like, they can send inquiries to OK TV Productions, and we can forward them to you at Post Office Box 312, Oakland, New Jersey, or they can phone us at 405-1084, and we'll pass it along to you, Oren. And are there kids in school that you also kind of play with? Do you have friends that you come home after school and play, or do you more or less?
Not really in school, but there's a chess club in Morristown, and it's every Tuesday I play there, and they have people of all ages. So it's not in chess. It's not really an age thing. It's like strength. You know, they don't care about age.
Ability.
Ability. Unless they're grouping like top 50 or something like that, or like any prizes. But no, it's really nothing to do with age.
Well, Oren, I'll speak for the crew here, and I'm sure from a lot of our people in town here that we're incredibly proud of you. And I want to thank you for being our guest on the Oaklander here tonight. And we will return after a public service message. Thanks, Oren.
Hello, my name is Tom Malden, and I'm appearing again on the Oaklander to give you an update on the proposed Ramapo River Club development in Oakland. Right now, I am at the Riverbend property. You can see the lake behind me and the Ramapo Mountains rising up behind the lake. And this is the proposed site for the development. There's proposed 400 houses on this 300-acre stretch of property. And right across the lake, there actually will be planned a wastewater treatment plant. Will discharge a little bit further downstream, and there will be other townhouses and condominiums planned across the lake also. One of the good positive signs which we've found in the last month is that the Borough of Oakland will be applying for Green Acres funds to buy the Camp Todd property that is right adjacent to the Riverbend property up on top of the ridge of the Ramapo Mountains. They applied for a $1.1 million Green Acres grant to buy the 74-acre Camp Todd property. We fully support that. We see it as a real positive sign, a real positive step in protecting the Ramapo Mountains in Oakland. It is a first step in a long process, though. You know, they have to apply for the funds, they have to actually get the funds from the state, and they have to negotiate a price and buy the tract. So there's still a long way to go on that. Since my last appearance on the Oaklander, there has not been a planning board meeting. There will be one scheduled for February, and we don't know what that date is right now. I'd like you to keep a watch out for that. We need really as many people as possible to go to those meetings and really show the amount of interest and opposition in the town of Oakland that there is to this Ramapo River Club development. At the time right now, We don't know, but you can call 337-8535, which is the Planning and Zoning Board phone number, to find out what that date is. You can also watch the local newspapers, and it's usually mentioned either in the Record or the Suburban News. We are still working on a petition drive for the Ramapo River Club, asking for Green Acres funds to buy the property. If you want to get involved in that or in any other way, you can give me a call at 337-3033. Thank you.
Welcome back to the program. With us now is Lou Paulo. He is a member of the Les Paul Trio, and with Lou tonight is John Paris, a blues rocker who has played with the likes of Johnny Winter and John Lee Hooker. And thanks for coming over tonight and for a very distinctive change to our usual set.
Well, thank you.
Lou, you first met Les Paul over 30 years ago in a Greenwood Lake nightclub. Tell us how you and Les started to work together.
Well, let's see. I met him 30 years ago, and then he was just a friend for so many years, and jamming with him up at the house, doing some recordings with him up at the house and for him. 14 years ago, he was retired, so he decided to go out on playing again, and that's how we got the Les Paul Trio going, about 14 years ago.
And John, you're originally from Wisconsin?
Mm-hmm.
And Les is also from Wisconsin.
He was born about 30 miles from where I was born.
No kidding, but there was a considerable amount of years between
Les is
that.
close to my dad's age.
And your real thing is for sitting in. Yeah, I think.
Well, I enjoy playing with a lot of different musicians, and I went down to see Les. I found out he was playing every Monday at Fat Tuesdays. I couldn't believe, the Les Paul was right there in New York every week, and I'd been living all different places in Manhattan over the years. Came in the early 70s, and about 6-7 years ago I wound up on Avenue A and 11th Street, which is not that far from Fat Tuesdays. And I started going down there, and I was introduced to Les, a mutual friend. I can't recall when or how it happened, but I was introduced at the time. I was still playing with Johnny Winter, and they said, "This is John Paris. He plays with Johnny Winter." And Les said to me, I'm a fan of Johnny's. You should try and get him down here sometime." But he said, "Do you play harmonica?" I didn't tell him that. I didn't tell him what instrument, and this person didn't say. He just said, "I played with Johnny Winter." And Les just said, "Do you play harmonica?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Well, you should come and sit in sometime. We'll play some blues." I thought, great. So I started going fairly regularly, once every other week or once a month, and it was my treat to even get to hear him play. And the trio with Lou and Gary Mazzarapi, just fabulous music happening every Monday night. And it became kind of a regular thing. For a while there, there were times when Les would say, "Well, I'm sorry I didn't get you up tonight. We got carried away," or whatever. But it got to be a regular thing, and it's one of the highlights of my life as a musician to be able to have played with these guys.
Now,
and the follow-up to that is not only did I get to know Les and get to play with him, but I got to know Lou and Gary and Tommy Doyle and Rusty and all the guys that were around Les, all terrific guys and great musicians.
Now, Lou is basically a jazz-orientated musician, or?
He knows all the
Commercial
chords.
jazz, yeah. No, few chords.
Well, you play all things, and mainly yours is
Well, we've been having a ball. This is a thrill that came out of meeting Les, was meeting Lou, and I brought Lou in on a couple of my gigs around New York. We play this place, the Erie Inn, on Spring and Washington. And, usually when I play with my trio, it's drums and bass and sometimes a horn section, the Uptown Horns. And it's more of a rock thing, more of almost a hard rock blues thing. But playing with Lou...
I'm learning.
Never,
Well,
never
he's
too
doing a
old
lot
to
better
learn,
than I
right?
am. He's doing a lot better than I am. He's got a great feel for that stuff. I've always loved jazz, which is one reason I started going to see Les. And you know, being a fellow Badger from Wisconsin, I felt
All
a
right.
certain affinity too. But you know, it's just been a thrill to me. It's been very encouraging because I've always wanted to play jazz, and Lou has been really encouraging, and I've learned a lot, and I've been working on playing jazz.
That sounds great.
It's something I've always been awed by, that people can play jazz, because I'm basically a rock blues player. You only have to know 3 chords to
Right.
play rock and blues, right?
But it takes a
Not
lot.
really.
It takes a lot of feel
Not
for
really.
that. Well, listen, you guys have been trading styles off. How about trading a few tasty licks here?
Well, which one?
You
You
do the stumble a little bit?
want to do that? Okay, sure. I don't care. Whatever you like to do.
It's a good mix.
Now we're going to go into your field. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just about 3 courses or so.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, smoke it, guys. Great, great.
That's one of his things, see?
That's an old Freddie King instrumental called The Stumble.
Stumble.
You guys have been around the world, have played with everybody, at least that.
At least once.
Yeah, at
At
least,
least
once.
once. At least once.
I mean, Lou, you've worked with Lou Monte.
Oh, yeah, you wanna go to him?
Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Julius LaRosa, for the folks. Jane Mansfield. Hey, you know who to work with, Lou.
Diana Dors.
You know?
She was great,
Whoa.
too.
Yeah, Jerry Van Dyke.
Jerry Van Dyke, we were in the service together.
Really? He was on the
Jerry-
coach program.
He's on coach now, isn't he? Still on coach?
The banjo player.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the comedian on Thompson Blue show that we had in the Air Force. And I haven't seen him since those days, and that was 19 of them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, really, he was, it was a lot
That's
of fun.
incredible.
A lot of fun.
Now, you had mentioned something about playing Molly's Fish Market in the late 80s.
I was there from 1975 to 1987. then
And
in
Les
New
would
Orleans.
come in and sit in
Les
with you
came
there?
in
Or was that the
last
Purple
2
Grotto?
years, right, he came in. Sat in with me 3 nights a week.
Okay.
That's how he got back into playing again.
How does that relate to the Purple Grotto and like Jasbo Collins?
Oh, well, Jazzbo always, he was on WNEW at that time, and he would come up to Molly's. We'd send a limo out to pick him up, come in with his purple jumpsuit on and his ukulele, just like Tiny Tim, who stopped
Okay.
in a few times there, too. And he would play along with us and then go back to WNEW, and we'd put the radio on, and we'd listen to him replay some of the stuff that we just did, and he'd talk about it. So it was a lot of fun.
That is really something, because I live a block away from Molly's Fish Market.
That's where you're at now.
I thank Bob and Sharon Jacod for introducing
Yes,
me to
Sharon
you
and Bob. Sharon and Bob.
and meeting Les and everyone
That's right.
else. And John, it's fantastic. Now, John, you've got a brand new CD out, Rock the Universe.
Rock the Universe.
And has gotten very, very favorable reviews. You're compared to Rory Gallagher and a touch of Pat Travers, and I mean this is fantastic. What are some of your early influences in music?
Well, I started out playing drums when I was in junior high school, and where I grew up in Milwaukee, I mean, there's a lot of great musicians, and I was always in awe of the guys I played with, so I thought, well, I'll just play the drums, I'll just keep the beat. And, you know, we were doing, like, The Stumble, Freddie King, Hideaway, and we did some Chuck Berry, and Bobby Bland, Little Tommy Tucker, and then as time went on, we got into Wilson Pickett and James Brown and stuff like that. So always blues-based, rhythm and blues, rock and roll. You know, this has been a great thing working with Lou too, because it's all music. You know, and it's really thrilling for me to meet somebody like Lou, who is a jazz player basically, but is open to music. You know, all kinds of pop and rock and blues, and it's very frustrating as a musician to have that attitude. But if you're a musician, you like music. You like all kinds of music. Unfortunately,
Music's a great equalizer.
yeah, you know, I just flashed on, you know, when Sinatra and Elvis sang together on one of the old shows, and
Bing and Bowie.
I mean, yeah, and you know, they sounded beautiful. Their voices blended beautifully, and yet, you know, there was this cultural difference, the age difference, and the rebelliousness of Elvis, and the tradition of Sinatra, and yet as musicians it all came together. And I think it's true racially too. You see Benny Goodman bringing in Charlie Christian years ago, and on, Jimi Hendrix playing with two
James
guys.
Brown. I mean, the funk, the soul that he can do is...
who you know, it's often said there are two kinds of music. There's good and bad in any style, and there's enough out there for everybody to listen to.
And the same is said about people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
And
it,
I
right.
think by communicating through music and friends talking about, hey, did you hear John Paris is playing with Lou Powell down there, and people come together, and it's a wonderful thing here.
It's been great.
Listen, before we go to a break, man, why don't you get your harp out and
You want to do Kansas City?
Well, no, why don't you do
something
he wants
jazzy,
a
or-
little harp. Do you want
Yeah,
do a little,
yeah,
do a little
do the harp.
bluesy
Yeah, then
harp
we'll go to a
for-
break.
into a commercial break here,
All right.
or whatever kind of break
Let's
you
do a
want.
little Kansas City.
You want to do that
Yeah.
one? Okay. This is a song, by the way, that we do with Les when John comes down to sit in with us. As soon as I do Kansas City, and when I do Kansas City, and if I see John at the bar,
It was
usually
great about getting me up.
I say,
Sometimes
I give him the high
Les
sign while we're
spaces out,
playing, then he
and
comes up
he's
in on
so
it.
into it. You know.
Incidentally, real fast, if I could get another plug in, the Les Paul Trio is going to be starting at the Iridium January 29th. We'll be there every Monday night in New York City, yeah. We'll be there every Monday at the Iridium.
for the folks who want to
Where's that?
The Les
catch one
Paul
of the
Trio.
That's 60th and Broadway.
music's great
63rd.
legends.
63rd and Broadway. 63rd and Broadway.
And Broadway. All right. Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. They've got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna give you one.
I'm gonna be standing on the corner, 12th Street and Vine. I'm gonna be standing on the corner, 12th Street and Vine, with my Kansas City baby and my bottle of Kansas City wine. Tell me,
Okay. I might take a train.
I might take a plane.
Oh, and if I have to walk, we're going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. They've got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna give you one. All right. Jump out. a train.
I might take a plane.
And if I have to walk,
I'm gonna get there just the same. I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come.
got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one. They've got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one. They've got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one.
Hey, Lou Paulo, John Paris. We'll be right back after a public service message.
Hello. The Oakland PBA Local 164 wishes to thank all who made the holiday toy and food drive a success. Russ Berry Company and ShopRite of Oakland assisted in donating toys and food for the needy. The toys were distributed to the underprivileged children of Bergen County by the Division of Youth and Family Services, DYFS. Some of the Oakland police officers assisted in the distribution. One even dressed as Santa Claus while giving out the toys to sick children. The officers went into economically depressed urban areas and gave out the collected food to the homeless shelters and needy families. These families and children were very touched and greatly appreciated the thoughtfulness. Thanks again from the Oakland PBA 164 for your donation to give some of the needy a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Oaklander. I'm here with guitarist Lou Paulo and John Paris. And listen, Lou, you going to be playing around in the area anytime soon where people may want to...
Besides working with Les Paul on Monday nights in New York, I'll be starting at the Timbers in Oakland. This is the Oaklander show, right?
That sure is.
I'll be starting there January 29th at Timbers, Friday and Saturday evenings.
Okay.
For quite a few months, I hope.
And you'll be doing old standards? Or
Oh, yeah, old standards and...
You got to see Lou because he covers all the bases.
I have. I've seen
It's
him work
great.
the pedals. He plays smooth as
Got
silk.
the strings going, the drum machine, everything.
Smooth as silk.
Everything.
Listen, John, living and working in New York City, do you hear a new emerging type of music here as phases come in and out? I mean, New York City's the Mecca. Do you...
Well, I think the great thing about New York is that there's so many people there and there's so many musicians there that just any kind of music you'd ever want to hear, from traditional jazz to new wave to the unknown wave, you know, whatever. I mean, there you know, all these great clubs downtown, the Knitting Factory and Continental, and there are all the traditional jazz clubs, Blue Note and Iridium, and I mean, just pick up a Village Voice. There, you know, just many great places to hear music in New York. And you know, we do our blues rock thing at Manny's Car Wash and Dan Lynch's, and occasionally at Tramps. I know they're having a tribute to Danny Gatton. Lou and Les and I all played at last year's tribute to the late great Danny Gatton. That's going to be sometime in February, and last year they had James Burton and Albert Lee and Les and Arlen Roth and John Sebastian. Just a lot of great musicians all paying tribute to Danny, who was a friend of Les's and a great talent. So I mean, there are just so many things going on, which is why I moved to New York, and I think probably why Les moved to New York from Waukesha, Wisconsin. And it's very exciting to be able to go out on any night and hear great music.
Well, speaking about great music, hit it.
We'll do something that I do.
Okay.
And with
So
Les. And give John a chance to struggle instead of me all the time. See, because he's doing all of
Sounds
these
fair.
blues things. All of me. Why not take all of me? Can't you say I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, part that once was my heart, so why not take all of it, John? Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my home, so why not take all of me? Why not take all of me? Oh, see, I let him struggle that time.
I was.
You noticed
But
that
he
one?
did a great job.
I understand you play guitar too.
Yes,
Al?
I've been known to break a few strings in my time.
Break a
Yeah.
few strings.
Yeah.
Well, you should bring it, you know, we should do it again. We'll come and do a show
Do a
in the
trio.
future.
I
I'm
would,
serious. And maybe you play some, and there's another gentleman I think that plays bass, and another one plays guitar, and the staff here.
We all play.
Well, let's get all the guitar players here. We'll have some fun.
Well, that's
Guitar
that's
Army.
a wonderful
Yeah.
invitation, and
Really?
maybe one day we'll take you up on that. Well, you got me nervous there on that one, guys. But
More than 3 chords there.
yeah, I like the
Beautiful,
feel.
Beautiful changes.
Yeah, that was nice.
Lou, with the experience that you've had over the years, what advice would you give budding musicians that are in the audience? What advice would you give to them?
Advice?
Getting into the music field or playing with certain people?
Oh, if they are musicians already and how
Yes,
to get out there and
sure,
play, if they
sure.
already can play.
Yeah.
I did mention something to you one time that I like to make it real fast. When you're out on stage performing in front of an audience, that's more, I say that's better learning that way than sitting home practicing. Because you can practice and practice and practice and play it perfect. Once you get out on stage, it's a different thing. So if you go out into a nightclub, go with a band and play with the band. You make a mistake, so what? The next day you won't make the same mistake, and the next day you make another mistake, and you just keep patching them up, patching them up. You get experience working in front of an audience,
There's nothing like it.
right? You agree with me?
Absolutely right.
I guess you
Yeah.
both would agree that try to find the best people you can to play with.
Exactly. Oh, that's another thing. Always play with better musicians,
And
and
You have to
that's
keep
how you
up with
learn.
it.
That's how
right.
you learn
That's right.
also. If you if you can do that, play with better musicians, then you'll learn. You will learn.
well, listen, guys, it's been a great pleasure here. I mean, from John Parrish playing with the likes of Mick Taylor and Johnny Johnson and stuff like that. John's
Yeah, Johnny's on the Johnny Johnson's on a couple of the cuts on the record. Which
Is he?
I'm very thrilled about.
John's new CD here is Rock the Universe, and
Got the Uptown Horns on there. All-star lineup with Anton Fig and Bobby Chenard, who played with Billy Squire, and Kenny Aronson, Rick Derringer's band, and Joan Jett, and Dylan, and a lot of great players.
striking cover too.
Well, thanks. That's
Yeah.
my ES5 Switchmaster.
And Lou Paulo, newfound friend. You're a neighbor. You're in Wanacue, right?
Wanacue,
You
yeah.
live in Wanacue, so folks who want to come down to the Timbers,
Timbers.
and check it out. I think we're going to have some of our Oaklanders there
Oh, definitely.
to check this out.
And come see us in New York, too, if you're out watching in New York City.
Yeah, I think I'll have to gel my hair out.
Come down. We do
Gel
the
your hair out.
year in once in a while, and Dan Lynch's. And Lou's been down to sit in with us, which is great.
Well, what do you say we wrap it up with a number here, and thank you both for
Done
coming
walking.
down here tonight.
Okay.
And,
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
hey,
Enjoyed it.
you know,
Al, catch you later.
all right, let's,
We're
what are
just
you going to
getting
do for
warmed
us
up.
here?
Yeah, we're just getting warm. We can stay here
We're used
for
to these
another
3-4 hour
10,
gigs. This
15
is
hours.
Unfortunately, the studio closes before 2 a.m.
Oh, okay.
And,
We have to get out of here.
yeah, what do you think you're going to leave us with here, guys?
That's common.
Yeah.
Walking, yes indeed, I'm talking about you and me. I'm hoping that you come back to me. I'm lonely as I could be. I'm waiting for your company. I'm hoping that you come back to me. What you gonna do when the well runs dry? Now where you gonna run away and hide? I'm gonna be right by your side. For you, pretty baby, I'd even die when I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm talking about you and me. I'm hoping that you come back to me. I'm trying so hard. Yeah, play it out. What you gonna do when the well runs dry? Where you gonna run away and hide? I'm gonna be right by your side. For you, pretty baby, I'd even die while I'm walking. Yes, indeed, and I'm talking about you and me. I'm hoping that you come back to me.
Sally wants to be a surgeon when she grows up. Maybe someday she'll operate on you. Now, would you like this free booklet of simple ways you can help improve her education? Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
Baby,
eye. In my many years as a photographer, I have seen photos with some favorable and not so favorable results due to the fact that many fail to understand the film and their associated exposure index. The International Standards Organization, which is ISO, is the speed of the sensitivity to light for a given film. Color films with an ISO of 64 is wonderful for sharp and vivid color, providing there is plenty of natural light and a steady hand. Modern developments today, though, have produced film that requires less light or can even freeze a fast-moving subject and still retain clarity. These film speeds are in a range of 400 to 1000 ISO range. These films can also be used in the new DX point-and-shoot cameras to obtain better pictures. Now let's take some time and look at some of these photos. This photograph was taken with an ISO film speed of 64. With a steady hand, plenty of natural light, and a very, very cooperative bird, I was able to get this beautiful shot of a pelican sitting on the side of a pier. You can see the detail in its feathers, the detail in the eye and in the beak, and how you have the different separations and the bright, vivid colors where they separate each other. Here again is another example of 64 speed film. If you look carefully, you will see that there's a tremendous amount of detail in the rocks, in the water, in the building that's out on the stilts, and also in the beautiful sky. This shot here was taken in Cedar Key, Florida. Plenty of natural light, good steady hand, and a little bit of positioning, and come up with a beautiful dynamic photograph like this. The photograph here of the burrowing owls was used with 400 speed film, telephoto lens, and one of the very important things of using the 400 speed films because of the fact that these are very, very quick little birds. They're very, very fast. They dig very, very quickly. Using the 400 speed film allowed me to capture any instant motion that the birds might decide to take. Again, too, to look at the clarity and the sharpness that we have in this photograph. Working with black and white film, I stumbled across this scene. I wanted to create a mood, a very contrasting mood, especially with the storm that was coming in. If you can see, there's I have those beautiful clouds coming in. And to create this, I had to push the film. I originally started off with an Ilford 400 speed film, but rated it at 1000. This here enhances the contrast and gives it a much more dramatic effect. Something in future Peter's Camera Corners, I'm going to start to discuss with you how we do push film and how we can obtain more and different and unusual results doing that. I hope our discussion has enlightened you on how to improve the color and light quality of your memories. Don't be afraid to experiment. Let your imagination be your guide. I look for you again on Peter's Camera Corner, and remember, keep shooting.
Well, that's all for show number 14. And if you can get a chance out there to see the Les Paul Trio, I suggest that you do while you still can. My thanks to Elle and Greg and Chris and Peter for the music video, and thank you for watching. For the Oaklander, I'm your host, Al DiGiacomo, and remember to be aware, get involved, and make a change for the better.
I'm talking about you and me, and I'm hoping that you come back to me. I'm lonely as I could be, and I'm waiting for your company. I'm hoping that you come back to me. Now what you gonna do when the well runs dry? And where you gonna run away and hide? I'm gonna be right by your side. For you, pretty baby, I'd even die while I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm talking about you and me, and I'm hoping that you come back to me. Come back. talking. Yes, indeed, and I'm talking about you and me, and I'm hoping that you'll come back to me.
I don't know how they're going to pick that up.